This program is brought to you by the Labatt Brewing Company Limited, sponsors of Labatt's Blue Jay Baseball.
The 1990 Toronto Blue Jays, continuing a tradition of success.
They are on their feet, white scarves everywhere. The 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed, and the Blue Jays win it. The Blue Jays are on their way to the 1989 American League Championship Series.
With 7 consecutive seasons of over 500 baseball, the Blue Jays are building a fantastic tradition of success. And with spring training in motion, fans dreamed of yet another winning season for Toronto's beloved Boys of Summer. Under the guidance of skipper Cito Gaston, the ball club appeared relaxed and ready.
Cito, he's more laid back and just let you go out and play, so come out here and have fun and let it rip.
And let her rip they did. Well, most of the time. As the Jays prepared for the 1990 campaign, a loose camp was evident.
We just try to have fun here, and I think our guys are having fun, and I think our guys are serious, and I think most of our guys want to wear that ring one of these days, so that's what we're really shooting for, but in the meantime, we're having fun doing it.
A capacity crowd assembled for the home opener against the Texas Rangers, and on hand were 2 heads of state. Throwing out the game's ceremonial first pitch, Canada's Prime Minister, Brian Mulroney, and the President of the United States, George Bush. Not a bad bullpen. Of course, both men are great supporters and fans of baseball.
Hey, listen, my emotions go back to being about a 10 or 12-year-old kid thinking, hey, what a tremendous thrill. I liked all that.
We've had a great day, Fergie. And as you know, the President and I are sports fans, and so apart from our business, we're especially enjoying tonight.
And it was indeed a memorable evening for the Blue Jays, the first home opener at the Sky Dome. Quite a souvenir and a very special night.
Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. He struck him out to end it.
David Wells earned the save as Toronto's pitchers combined for a 5-hitter. The tradition of success continued with the emergence of another talented young Blue Jay, John Olerud. In '89, Olerud broke into pro ball at the major league level. Blue Jay fans rooted for him right off the bat as he overcame a brain aneurysm. And on April 18, 1990, John got a hit he'll never forget.
Drives that pretty deep. Deep enough to leave the Sky Dome. His first big league home run.
His hitting potential is sound, and you certainly have to look up at a youngster like John, who has his feet on the ground and a mature attitude about his abilities.
I'm pretty much a line drive hitter, spray the ball around the field, and occasionally, if I get a hold of one, you know, it can go out of the park.
Holy cow, this kid's a pretty good hitter.
John Olerud should be a real good player in this league for a long time. He has a good swing, and he has good eyes up there hitting, and he's just a super person. I think he's the sort of guy that you would hope that your son would grow up to be like. That's what I think of John Olerud.
High praise indeed. No question, John's a special talent with superstar potential. From a star on the rise to a star in place, shortstop Tony Fernandez began the season on a sizzling note.
Snyder on the run, can't get to it, it'll go to the wall. Fernandez on his way to third. It'll be a triple. Make it a 14-game hitting streak for Tony Fernandez.
He extended it to 15, and by season's end was among the league leaders in base hits with 175, and led the majors in triples with 17. With his glove, Tony was good as gold.
As a shortstop, you need to get rid of the ball quicker. On the double play ball, you know that you don't have too much time, so you have to be able to get the ball out of your glove as quick as possible.
Spectacular, and his all-around consistency was again Tony's most valuable trademark.
Up the middle, what a great glove snag, and they get Kirby at second base.
Curveball bounced up the middle. Fernandez gloves it, gets it over to Manning Lee, and time for the fourth.
Fernandez from deep in the hole with a fine defensive play.
Tony has excellent range and quickness, and also an uncanny ability to make an off-balance throw.
Tony Fernandez is a complete ball player. You don't see guys pinch running for him, pinch hitting, playing defense. And I look at that a lot in a ball player. I value that a lot. He's got great athletic ability and just a fine ball player and a fine person.
Fernandez batted second in Toronto's lineup, and as a shortstop was second to none. A peek at the standings at the end of April showed the Blue Jays tied for second. In May, the Sky Dome was the site of a series featuring the Blue Jays and Sparky Anderson's Tigers. Detroit's Cecil Fielder, a former Jay, put on a powerful display, smashing 3 homers. Kelly Gruber, off to a hot start himself, also connected with a pair of round trippers. In an awesome display of home run power, the two clubs combined for 10 round trippers. Gruber and teammates pounded out an 11-7 win. Kelly enjoyed the sweet taste of success as a hot start sparked a fantastic season. 31 homers, 118 RBIs, and a .274 batting average. In his third year as an everyday player, Gruber blossomed into a bona fide star.
Gruber hits the ball hard. It's way back, way back and gone. Home run, Kelly Gruber. He hits this one long and deep, and you can say goodbye.
The bottom line in Gruber's improvement in 1990 can be summed up by 2 words: experience and maturity.
The more I've been up here, the little more success I've had, a little more comfortable. I have a better idea of not only what to expect from a hitter standpoint, defensively as well. I can't put my finger on any one particular thing and say, yeah, this is it. It's a combination of things: hard work, sacrifice, just a lot of things.
He's having an awesome year. I call him the golden child. I mean, he can't do no wrong right now. He's coming through.
Along with cutting down his errors, Gruber made his usual share of death-defying plays at the hot corner. Footloose and fearless. Gold glove play at third.
It's a ground ball, fair ball. Look at that play by Gruber. Holy cow. And he gets him. Great play by Kelly Gruber.
Tough play for Gruber here. Bare hands it and just gets one ball. Good hustle by number 17.
Gruber's popularity was quite evident, both with his teammates and the fans.
My favorite Blue Jay is Kelly Gruber because he's gorgeous.
I don't know. What's the third baseman? There you go.
My favorite Blue Jay is Kelly Gruber.
because he gives 110% every game.
Kelly Gruber. Kelly Gruber. Well, what does that commercial say? Watch him move.
In May, the Blue Jays moved on to a team milestone. The tradition continued with a victory that symbolized success. Win number 1,000 for the Toronto franchise. But as Blue Jay fans rejoiced, the Chicago White Sox were intent on spoiling the celebration. It's the third inning. The batter, Ivan Calderon.
Hey, look at this. Way back. Put it on the board. Second deck, and the Sox lead it 2-0.
Chicago took a 3-0 lead, but from a bird's eye point of view, the Blue Jays sensed a comeback in the making. Fifth inning, Nelson Liriano put the Jays in flight.
Knew it was going to happen. Here comes one. And they're going to hold Olerud at third base. And it's a 4-3. Toronto lead.
Dwayne Ward was on the mound for the 8th and 9th innings to secure franchise victory number 1,000.
Swung on and missed. It's over. How about that? Franchise win number 1,000 here tonight over the White Sox.
But despite that victory, Toronto soon found itself in a nosedive. Frustration reached its peak after the Jays dropped 9 of 10, including series losses to Oakland, California, and a 3-game sweep at the hands of the lowly Mariners. But at the Kingdome, Cito Gaston seemed to spark his ball club with this outburst. And the man who sparked Toronto with his bat, George Bell.
He looks this deep to left. That's out, and that's history. A 2-run shot for Bell.
After an 11-4 victory in Game 2, the series finale was highlighted by a pair of homers, Manny Lee and then Junior Felix.
This one is trouble if it's fair, and it's a home run. He's a switch hitter. He's going for that porch in the corner. If this is fair, it's trouble. Gone, a home run. Back-to-back homers. Two-strike delivery. He struck him out. And the Blue Jays have swept this series as they head for Oakland and the world champion A's.
In Game 1 of that series, Toronto continued its winning ways thanks to the pitching of Dave Stieb, who fired a complete Game 3 hitter. His first complete game of 1990 and the 100th of his career. Toronto also won Game 2 of the series, despite Ricky Henderson passing Ty Cobb on the all-time stolen base list. Tom Henke entered the game with 1 out in the 9th, striking out Jose Canseco and Big Mark McGuire.
Here's the pitch by Henke. Struck him out. The Blue Jays winning.
Toronto met the challenge of a losing streak and had turned their fortunes around. Cito Gaston's club had passed the Milwaukee Brewers, and by May's end were in first place. Cito had weathered the storm.
I think this is a good training season for Cito. I mean, to see what he's really made of, because we've had some adversity. Last year he took over and everything came up roses, and we won, and you know, that was good. But this year we've had some adversity. We've had some losing streaks. We've struggled. We had some winning streaks. So I think it was a good trial for Cito this year, and I think he's done a good job.
Cito took over for Jimmy Williams in May of '89, and the Blue Jays posted the best record in the majors the rest of the way. But 1990 was a different story.
I think you got to have some challenges in your life, and some, you know, some good days, but you're going to have some bad days managing. You know, it's a gamble. You do certain things when the game starts that if the players can execute, it's going to work. If they can't, then it's not going to work. But I still give all the credit to the players because they have to do it. You know, I can put on a play, but they got to carry it out.
By June, Cito's troops were running on all cylinders, posting some high-octane results. His patience was paying off, and the results were evident in the standings at the end of May. A celebration was in the waiting back at the Sky Dome, where Domer the Turtle and company commemorated the first anniversary of the new ballpark. As most fans agree, the Sky Dome has carved a place in the hearts of both young and old. A sellout was the norm in 1990. And whether your interest was a hot tub or just a coal of bats blue, the Sky Dome was sure a fun place to be.
We love you, Blue Jays! Oh, yeah! go! We have... Let's go, Jay! We're number 1! We have Gruber, Lee, Fernandez, McGriff, Bell,
Kenny Williams.
Molnix, Kenny Williams, Stieb, Henke. That says it all.
The home club's performance said it all, celebrating in their first anniversary by making window dressing of the Brewers.
Check the breaking ball here.
There it is, and it's laced to left for an RBI base hit. Gruber drives in Fernandez. The Jays are on the board, 1-0.
The festivities continued as Pat Borders added this party favor.
This ball is hit deep to left. Felder back at the track, the wall. It's gone for Borders.
The Blue Jays flew to a 7-4 victory, setting the stage for one of their hottest runs of the season as they tied the Brewers for second place. Milwaukee fans were seeking refuge after the Blue Jays took 3 of 4 from the Brew Crew. In 3 victories, they scored 31 runs.
That's a base hit into left center field. 3-0 Toronto. 2 down, here's Bell. Young's going to hurry. Still going back. It's over his head and off the wall. Scoring is Felix. Here comes Fernandez around third. They're going to wave him home. 6-0 Toronto. Shortstop right through the legs of Diaz. Rounding third is Olerud. He'll head home. Here's Junior Felix. Down the left field line. That's a fair ball heading into the corner. A 2-run double for Junior Felix. And the Blue Jays have scored 10 runs in the 4th inning. 12-0 Toronto. The worst inning in Milwaukee Brewers history. We have just witnessed it.
After dispatching Milwaukee, it was time for the Blue Jays to visit Minnesota's Metrodome. Glen Allen Hill continued Toronto's torrid hitting with this blast, and the Blue Jays spun a web that the Twins couldn't escape. A 6-run 9th inning and a 10-1 victory. The final exclamation point was supplied by Big Fred McGriff.
McGriff sends it way up in right field, but it's fading foul. Or is it? No, stays fair. He's got it. 2-run shot. McGriff delivers.
A 3-game sweep. Next, a visit to New York. And with the Dominican Blue Jays on hand, the Yankees and Jays dueled into the 11th inning, deadlocked at a run apiece. Pat Borders at the plate.
3-2, 2 away, 1-1 tie. 11th inning. Base hit. Mullenix is on his way home. He'll score easily from second base, and the Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead.
That was the final. The next day was Father's Day, and Todd Stottlemyre, pitching on the same mound his pop once used, stymied New York with a complete game.
Fly ball, short center, now carrying a bit to Wilson, who's there to make the catch, and this ball game is over. 8-1 the final as the Toronto Blue Jays continue their winning ways. They go 9-1 on their road trip.
11 of 13 overall. And when the Yanks visited the Sky Dome, Toronto's tradition of success continued to ring true. George Bell dialed up some long-distance homers that reached faraway area codes.
Uh-oh. That is long gone. Man, did he put a charge in that one. Holy cow.
0-1 is hit hard to left field. Home run, George Bell. Bell hits it hard, way back. And gone. Home run, George Bell, 1-run ball game.
The durable Bell rung up some powerful numbers in June. 9 homers, 26 RBIs, and a .313 average. Twice named the American League Player of the Week. And when Toronto put in a call for a long-distance clutch smash, more times than not, Bell answered.
To just tell you a little bit about George, I think a lot of people don't really know George. George is a winner for me. He loves to play. He loves to win. George is the type of guy that can go for 4 and win a ball game. We can't win without him. I would like to try it. I think George is real important for us, and it's important that George hits the rest of the way.
George Bell is a fighter. You know, he's a gamer. He's the type of guy that you want on the club in a crunch time because you know he's going to deliver. I can't think of too many more people I'd rather have in that situation.
He's probably our most consistent player. He's out there every day. He doesn't really complain a whole lot about the aches and pains, but he lives with them, and he tries to play through them. And sometimes, you know, he should take a day off, but he won't. He stays out there.
Bell won the Ironman Trophy for his durability, and with his 7th straight year of 80 or more RBIs and 6th straight season with 20 or more homers, earned some well-deserved admiration from Blue Jay fans. Toronto had enjoyed great success at Fenway Park. In fact, they hadn't lost a game there since 1987. 15 straight. But last season, things took a turn for the worse. Fenway Park was much more hostile in 1990, as the Red Sox gave the Blue Jays nothing but headaches, handing them their first loss there in 2 years.
Here it goes, deep left field. Jody Reed puts the Red Sox ahead 8-7. Red Sox win it and break a 15-game losing streak in Fenway to Toronto. And Carlos drills one high and deep. Forget about this one. It's long gone and hard to find. 3-0 Boston. Popped up into shallow right. Jody Reed gives way to Brunansky. The game is over. The Red Sox sweep the Toronto Blue Jays. 3.5 up now. The Red Sox over Toronto.
On June 29th, Blue Jay fans witnessed Toronto baseball history. Dave Stewart pitched a whale of a game against the Blue Jays, striking out 12. And in the 9th inning, he found himself on the verge of pitching the season's 4th no-hitter.
Dave Stewart, 1 out away from a no-hitter. And the Blue Jay fans hoping to see a no-hitter. Fly ball center field. Dave Henderson makes the call. No-hitter for Dave Stewart.
How about that? The first no-hitter at the Sky Dome and the second one against the Blue Jays. By season's end, there would be a record-breaking 9 no-hitters. The standings at the end of June saw the Blue Jays in need of stopgap measures. And whenever the Blue Jays looked to stop opponents cold, the man they looked to was Tom Henke, averaging better than a strikeout per inning for 5 of his first 6 seasons. In 1990, he collected 32 saves, including this stretch.
Tom Henke after his 16th save in that many opportunities. Little fly ball. Tony Fernandez has it measured, and the Blue Jays win it 1-0. Number 16 for Henke.
Well, I think I'm a better pitcher now than I used to be. Used to be I used more of just a thrower, and now I'm knowing how to set hitters up. I'm knowing how to use my 2 pitches. That's my fastball and my forkball. And I use them to set each other up. I mean, it's nice to have a 90-plus fastball, but you've got to have something else. These hitters are too good, and if you just keep pumping that thing in there, somebody's going to catch up to it and hurt you.
Here's the 2-2 by Henke, and he got him on a breaking ball.
Well, that's not unusual for Henke to be striking out people. Tom Henke's strikeouts per 9 innings have made him a legend of the 80s.
But even a legend occasionally needs help. Enter Dwayne Ward, who led the league in innings pitched by a reliever with 127. The Blue Jays relied on Ward to pitch in many relief situations. A dependable hurler who was most adept at getting the Jays out of a jam.
My role, I've always been telling everybody that I'm, the jack of all trades, master of none, because I go in the 4th inning or I come in the 9th inning. I've done it all this year. I've done it in the past 3 years. I think that's my job with the Blue Jays, and the more times I get the ball, I think the more I'm going to get better and stronger and be a little bit more effective than someone who gets the ball once every 4th or 5th day. It's something I'm out there in the bullpen doing, is begging for the baseball.
Ward accumulated 11 saves in 18 opportunities and 7 holds. The hard-throwing pitcher was at times unhittable, but Ward and Henke weren't the only 2. When the going got tough, Cito Gaston also called upon veteran Jim Acker. The sinker ball pitcher won 4 and ranked 3rd in appearances with 59. Another team veteran, Frank Wills, won 6 games, the best bullpen in the league. With July came the All-Star Game, as 3 players represented the Blue Jays at Chicago's Wrigley Field.
Right here, looking good.
Kelly Gruber, George Bell, and Dave Stieb. With his 7th All-Star game, Stieb tied Hall of Famer Early Wynn for most appearances by an AL pitcher. Kelly Gruber also tied an All-Star record with 2 stolen bases. And Stieb pitched 2 scoreless innings, helping the American League win the Midsummer Nights Classic by a score of 2-0. Dave Stieb, a franchise player who's been part of Toronto's tradition from nearly the beginning. The Labatt's Blue Pitcher of the Year has more Major League service than any player on the Blue Jays roster. Stieb's the all-time Blue Jays leader in victories, strikeouts, shutouts, and complete games. His record last season was his best ever, 18-6, with an ERA of 2.93.
When he goes out there on the mound, we know we got a good chance of winning.
It seems like every time Stieb goes to the mound, we're going to win a ball game.
See ya! Oh, my God, what a pitch!
I think he's proved that he is one of the dominating pitchers in the game the last 10 years.
166 career victories since 1979 supports that claim, but as Blue Jay fans know, it hasn't always been easy for Dave.
I think just my determination coming back from a bad 86-87 season, then having a good 88, 89, and proving a bit to myself again that I can throw the ball the way I'm capable of throwing it, and it all boils down to team support, and that's the reason for bouncing back. I've had good offensive and defensive support.
Bolstering Toronto's tradition of success. Stieb's battery mate, Pat Borders, helped Dave carry on that tradition. Borders ranked 3rd among American League catchers in percentage of base runners caught stealing, gunning down 34 of 88. With the bat, Pat was equally as impressive, batting .286 with 15 homers. Those 15 round trippers also tied him for 3rd best among American League catchers.
I got to give a credit to Cito and Gene Tennis for helping me out with my hit and making me wait back, being more patient maybe. They've been helping me out, staying back, getting a longer look at the ball, and it's maybe getting me some better pitches to hit.
A quick look at the standings at the end of July showed the Blue Jays in a neck-and-neck tie with Boston. The buzzword in August wasn't spray hitters, it was pesky pests. There were so many little buggers that one game was put on hold, thousands of gnats.
They're calling them off the field. They're going to delay the game. I've been fogged out, I've been winded out, I've been colded out, snowed out, rained out, but never bugged out.
So the question remained, what do you do with a ballpark filled with bugs? The answer became evident. You put a lid on it. So as players seek refuge in the dugout, the Sky Dome roof was slammed shut.
I guess they were watching them, and when they landed, they didn't take back off. So I guess they figured as soon as they shut the dome, there wouldn't be any more coming in, and they'd land, and then you'd go, and that's exactly what happened. So, yeah, it was kind of weird that they shut it when it wasn't raining or anything, and it was just bugs, but it's kind of nice to have the dome in that type of situation.
But, folks, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Well, in the dome, many things can happen here, unexpected things. You know, this is just a bizarre place, so I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen next.
Well, there was one instance involving Kenny Williams that's worth a look at. It happened during a game against the New York Yankees.
Williams is on his way to 3rd as Lee fouls the ball behind first base. Caught by Moss, he's going to 2nd, but he threw the ball away with a chance to get Williams, and here's Williams sprinting back for 3rd. Now he's coming home. The left fielder Hall is hurt. Now John McLaren, the 3rd base coach, was wiped out by Williams, who's touched home plate, and he's hurt.
Well, luckily, Hall wasn't injured seriously, and Coach John McLaren wasn't hurt badly either. There were, however, a few bruised egos.
I saw the ball on its way to the plate, and once I got to third base, I heard the third base coach tell me to go back, and it's just one of those things that happen. The only thing I needed after the play was a tank of oxygen. I got enough harassment from my teammates, and all I needed was some oxygen to get me going again.
It's tough not to chuckle when looking back at that play in particular. But there were other adventures or misadventures at the Sky Dome that were equally, shall we say, breathtaking. Things took a more serious twist at Chicago's Comiskey Park for an August series against the White Sox. Junior Felix batted in the ninth as Toronto mounted a 3-run comeback.
There's the base hit up the middle. Mookie Wilson's being waved by John McLaren. Lance Johnson with the throw, not even close. The Jays lead.
The next day, Glenn Allen Hill punctuated a 12-run rout with this blast.
Bradley is back, watches it go. Grand slam, home run, Glenn Allen Hill.
Then it was time to slam the gate on Minnesota with some spellbinding pitching. Dave Stieb won his 16th of the season, holding the Twins scoreless through 6 innings and striking out 4 in a 5-1 victory. More pitching heat was applied the next day by Jimmy Key, who combined for a 6-hit shutout.
Getting Jimmy Key and Dave Stieb hot and getting them going, it kind of lifts the whole team because everybody knows that when they go out there, there's not going to be a whole lot of blowout games like that. They're going to keep us in the ball game, give us a chance to win.
In the finale, the starter was David Wells, who improved his record to 9-3 with a 9-1 rout of Minnesota. Wells began the season in the bullpen, but the hard-throwing hurler showed great potential as a starter.
I'm here for the team, and if I can help them out as a starting pitcher or relief pitcher, that's what I want to do. And it seems that I was doing both, but I'm having more success as a starting pitcher right now.
With the pitching staff pitching well, the Blue Jays won 5 of 6 and appeared to be gearing up for their big 4-game August series against the Boston Red Sox. Toronto's success continued in their series opener against Boston, a 4-3 victory. Fans at the 40th consecutive sellout at the Sky Dome rejoiced. But the next day, the Red Sox held the Jays to no runs on the pitching prowess of starter Dana Kicker and reliever Jeff Gray. Next, a complete game shutout by Roger Clemens.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, and the ball game is over. A big win for the Red Sox. And Boston has now won 2 out of the 3 games in this series.
In the finale, another shutout. The first time the Sox held the club scoreless 3 straight games since 1962.
Struck him out. The Red Sox have taken 3 out of 4 as Jeff Gray picks up his 6th save. 3 straight shutouts, and the Red Sox lead atop the American League East is now 4 games.
We have to give them credit. They played extremely good baseball. Their pitching was absolutely outstanding, probably as good as it's been at any point all year long. And they just outplayed us in every aspect of the game in that particular series.
To be honest, I wasn't disappointed. We played hard. We played a good baseball. Too bad that we lost those games, but we can dwell in the past. We had to look forward for the games that we have ahead of us.
By the end of August, the Jays were in second place, a desperate 6.5 games out. Next, on to the rescue with a clutch September bomber. Fred McGriff heated up in September and October, with 7 homers, passing the 30 home run mark for the 3rd straight year, and pulling off a 5-hit game in Cleveland that included this blast.
Now here's Fred McGriff, who's 4 for 4. High fly ball, center field, back, gone. A mammoth shot for Fred McGriff, 5 for 5, and a 2-run home run.
When talking of Mr. Fred McGriff, the word power is indispensable. At times, he was unstoppable.
Fred, one of the greatest power hitters we got in this league. I don't really think Freddie knows how good he really is, what kind of power he really has.
Ceiling. This one is gone, folks. An upper deck shot.
He's just starting to learn, I think, how to hit the ball off the field with power.
McGriff greets him on the first pitch and mashes one. Way out of here.
His final totals, 36 homers, 88 RBIs, and a .300 batting average. But his season began in slow motion.
My first part of the season, I was struggling, but I hung in there, and given the chance to play every day, I get to come out every day and keep working on things and keep battling. And after the All-Star break, I started swinging a lot better.
McGriff was the Labatt's Blue Player of the Month for July and August, posting great numbers and playing first base with great skill.
You haven't seen the best of Fred yet. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me one year seeing hit 55, 60 home runs. So he's got that type of power, and he's got great eye for a big man. He's really made great strides at first base, and I can see a Golden Glove down the road for Fred McGriff too.
The next day, another Blue Jay soared in September. Pitcher Dave Stieb signed off on a feat never before accomplished by a Blue Jay. Against the Indians, Stieb was building up to a no-hitter with an overpowering performance in Cleveland.
I started thinking about it in the 2nd or 3rd inning, and I kind of told myself that's a little too soon to be looking at that, but I couldn't help it. And as the game progressed, the no-hitter was still intact, and it really got nerve-wracking about the 7th, 8th inning when I knew it was at hand.
Then as the 9th inning rolled around, Dave's previous 4 near brushes with no-hitters seemed to haunt him. It would be impossible not to recollect losing 4 chances at no-hit fame in the 9th inning.
The pitch. Swinging a fly ball deep to right. Going back. It's gone. A home run. A swing and a bouncer to second. Big hop over the head of Lee into right center. A swing and a shot down the right field line. It's a base hit.
Holy cow, he broke it up with 2 outs, and he's going for second. He's going to make it. I don't believe it. Unbelievable.
But that was the past, and as Stieb took the mound in the 9th at Cleveland Stadium, his thoughts were on the matter at hand. One more chance at a no-hitter.
He's an out away. So for the 4th time, he takes it to this stage. 2 out in the 9th inning for the 2nd time here in Cleveland. Alex Cole, the scheduled hitter from center field, will face him. He is twice grounded out, and he is walked today.
My main concern was Cole. It didn't come across to walk him. I just said to myself to pitch him carefully, don't give in to him. And then I threw a fastball a bit high for ball 4. But, I was concerned. I had a 3-0 lead, so I just went at the next hitter.
26 behind him. He needs 1 more out. Into right field. He has got a no-hitter for Dave Stieb. The long frustration is finally over. The first in Toronto Blue Jay history recorded here in Cleveland this afternoon.
I was thinking about getting it, of course, but I remember sitting here last time thinking the same thing, and I didn't want to jinx myself, but I'd already thought about it, so that was that, and I just kept going at it like it was the 9th inning. I thought about that in the 7th, and I went out there like it was the 9th. I did the same thing in the 8th, and in the 9th inning, I didn't want to make any bad pitches and let them beat me on that, so luckily, the last guy hit the ball right to the right fielder.
With spirits soaring, the Blue Jays return to the Sky Dome, ready to continue their winning ways, as Todd Stottlemyre pitched 8 strong innings, holding the White Sox to 1 run and striking out 6. Melito Perez no-hit Toronto through 6 innings, but in the 7th,
There's a drive into left field. Crowder run on the run. Can't get it. 2 runs will score. Mookie Wilson delivers a big 2-out double.
Dave Stieb, making his first appearance at the Sky Dome since firing his no-hitter, was on track for win number 18, a new record for Toronto Blue Jay pitchers.
There's good news and bad news for the White Sox. The good news is Dave Stieb is finished for the day. The bad news, Mr. Henke.
Oh, boy.
Henke slammed the door shut, earning his 28th save, and the Blue Jays won 3-0. Toronto let their bats do the talking in the finale as they celebrated a brand new attendance record with offensive fireworks.
McGriff sends a high drive to center. Man, what a mammoth poke. 397 feet they ruled that one.
That's all? Jeez.
There's another drive. Way back in right, and Myers has one out of here. Blue Jays are rolling out the big lumber now. 2 solo homers give them a 3-run lead.
Blue Jays 6, White Sox 1. The outpour of runs continued in Kansas City, and after a 6-1 win in the opener, shortstop Tony Fernandez opened the floodgates in Game 2.
Fernandez gives it a ride in the air to right field. Gone. Grand slam. Home run. Tony Fernandez.
An 8-4 win and Toronto's 6th straight victory. Then it was back home to the Sky Dome as the Blue Jays inched their way forward in the standings. But this time, a tightly fought battle against the Baltimore Orioles.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Hits it hard to right field. Junior Felix goes back and it's gone. Grand slam home run for Sam Horn.
The Orioles jumped ahead to an early lead, but Cito Gaston's troops don't surrender easy. The Blue Jays mounted a comeback. Trailing by 2 in the bottom of the 9th, the batter was the ever-dangerous Kelly Gruber.
Score. Felix is on his way home. Kelly Gruber has RBIs 100 and 101, and the Blue Jays are within 1.
Then up stepped the team's best pinch hitter, Rance Mullinax.
Here's the 1-1. Base hit. Fernandez in to score. Gruber's on his way home. The throw to the plate. He falls over and scores 7-7.
Baltimore skipper Frank Robinson watched helplessly as Greg Olson faced John Olerud.
Up the middle. The Blue Jays win it.
Another heart-stopper. The final score, Toronto 8, Baltimore 7. And the Jays pull to within 3 games of first place. No one could possibly sleep through the excitement that was to follow the next day as the 2 clubs battled down to the wire in Game 3 of the series. Kelly Gruber, Labatt's Blue Player of the Year, came through again.
High ball to left field, deep left field, it's gone! Toronto wins it.
A 3-run homer in the bottom of the 9th. Now only 2 games behind the Red Sox. Even Mutant Ninja Turtles couldn't help the Orioles in the series finale. Once again, the 9th inning, this time the hero, George Bell.
The Blue Jays in the bottom of the 9th inning are a winner for the 3rd straight day over the Orioles, and now they are just 1 game back of the Boston Red Sox.
That's 1 hot ticket, and Toronto was 1 hot club. Stump Merrill and his Yankees came to town, and Jesse Barfield smashed his 24th homer of the season as last place New York hung tough. But the Blue Jays mounted a comeback. Key hit courtesy of Kelly Gruber.
Fernandez is on his way home, and Barfield doesn't get the gun away. 5-4 Blue Jays.
And Tom Henke slammed the door shut for the 6-4 win. It was that time of year. Keep an eye on the scoreboard and your nose to the grindstone as the excitement keeps on coming. Pinch hitter Rance Mullinick stepped up to the plate in Game 2 of the series, 9th inning. The score tied at 2.
Sweet swinging Rance Mullinick delivers again. How about this comeback club?
The Yankees didn't throw in the towel the following night, but the Blue Jays were determined to move into first place. The contest was a back-and-forth battle. Junior Felix hit his 13th homer, and Toronto was aiming for the first home series sweep against New York.
Whitten with the pickup. Wellwater is going to go home, and he is out at the plate. The last time the Blue Jays were in first place was exactly a month ago today. So here we are, September 19th, and they are tied for first. Now the fans are on their feet. Just under 50,000 here. Toronto's in first place. Haas called out on strikes as the Blue Jays extend the winning streak to 6.
Toronto's tradition of success translated to record numbers at the turnstiles. In their series against the Yankees, Toronto drew enough fans to establish a new mark.
Our paid attendance of 49,902 brings our season total to 3,635,829. The new all-time Major League Baseball record.
What is the Toronto Blue Jay fan? Toronto Blue Jay fan is there to back them all the way through thick and thin.
To me, the fans here in Canada are some of the best baseball fans there are. I mean, 50,000, 49,000 plus every day, and it's amazing. It really makes it a thrill to be able to come put a uniform on here and play for the Blue Jays when you have fan support like that.
Oh, the Skydome, it's a great spot. It's a great spot. And when you got a winner, you can't help but come and watch a winner all the time.
Some die-hard Blue Jay fans even followed the club to Milwaukee, where George Bell tied a career high by going 5 for 5 as the Blue Jays exploded for 9 runs and a victory that put them 1.5 games ahead of the idle Red Sox. But the first 2 games against the Brew Crew proved disastrous. 2 straight losses, and the Jays found themselves stumbling badly. The standings show Toronto and Boston tied for first, heading for their final showdown. The Blue Jays and Red Sox met for the last time, a 3-game series for first place in the AL East. The Jays sized up their opponents.
They've got a lot of veteran players, people that know how to play the game, and I'm sure they're going to approach it the same way that we are. They're going to go out, try to have fun, give 100%, and see what happens.
Staff ace Dave Stieb pitching. Wade Boggs batting. The pitch swung on. That's a blast, and it is gone. A home run for Wade Boggs, and the Red Sox jumped ahead to a 4-0 lead. Mike Boddicker held the Blue Jays scoreless through 6, but in the 7th,
Grounded off the end of the bat and by Rivera. Here comes McGriff. He will score, and Toronto cuts the 4-run lead to 3.
And the Blue Jays keep on coming, even after a pitching change, as clutch-hitting Mookie Wilson stepped to the plate.
Line drive, base hit. Soho scores, and it's a 1-run ball game. Fernandez grounding it into the hole, knocked down by Quintana. Here comes Junior Felix to tie the game.
The score was 4-4, but the Red Sox regained the lead in the bottom of the 8th because of a pair of throwing errors by Kelly Gruber. The Blue Jays were down, but certainly not out, not by a long shot. And under the leadership of Cito Gaston, the club rallied in the top of the ninth, with the Red Sox leading 5-4 and Junior Felix coming to the plate.
He is driving one deep to right field. Brunansky going back. Junior Felix with a 2-run home run, and Toronto leads it 6-5. Unbelievable.
It appeared as though the Blue Jays had pulled a miracle out of thin air, but this game was far from over. Boston was planning a rally of their own, and the hero turned out to be the unlikeliest player of all.
Well hit, base hit, the Red Sox win it.
Jeff Stone, in his first at-bat of the season, put the Red Sox in first place. Taking the hill in Game 2 was Roger Clemens, and despite physical ailments, the Rocket Man held the Jays to no runs through 6 innings. It was a valiant 4-hit effort from Roger, who earned a standing ovation from Fenway's faithful. Tom Brunansky enjoyed the biggest day of his career, belting 3 home runs, and Boston walked away with a 7-5 victory. The Blue Jays pondered their fate, but came out swinging in the series finale.
Bell. Great dive to stop by Rivera, but Bruder's on his way home. The Blue Jays get the lead, 1-0 Toronto.
Fred McGriff went 4 for 6 with 3 RBIs as the Blue Jays seek revenge, collecting 19 base hits, 17 singles. The final score in Game 3 was Toronto 10, Boston 5.
We could have walked out of here a game up ourselves, but you can't look back. We're just going to look ahead and hopefully go into Baltimore and play good baseball. I think it's going to be tough, but hopefully the White Sox can come in here and play good too.
So the Blue Jays packed their gear and headed for their final destination of 1990 and the last 3 games of the regular season. All eyes were focused on the action at Memorial Stadium, with the division flag still up for grabs. Mike Devereaux homered and the Orioles won the game 6-3, a most disappointing setback to say the least. Meanwhile, at Fenway Park, the Red Sox disposed of the White Sox as Jeff Reardon slammed the door in the ninth.
Strike 3, got that one. Red Sox win it. Toronto loses. The Red Sox are up by 2 with 2 to play.
But Toronto's vital signs are still apparent as they battle the Orioles with the slimmest of hopes. Blue Jays broke a scoreless deadlock in the 5th inning.
Dave Johnson for Baltimore against Pat Boras. Base hit to right field. Bell's in to score the first run of the game.
But Baltimore bounced back to tie the score at 1-1, and the game wasn't settled until the 9th. The batter, Fred McGriff.
It's way back, carrying towards the bullpen. Home run, Fred McGriff. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Struck him out. And the Blue Jays still have life, at least for the moment.
Back in Boston, the Red Sox were still in position to clinch with a victory. The game was tied into the 11th.
2-2 pitch. Base hit, right field. Karkovice is being waved in. Romine with the throw to the plate, and he is safe. And the White Sox have a 3-2 lead. Wrights again. He flips to Fletcher. The Blue Jays are still alive. The magic number remains at 1.
The White Sox had given the Blue Jays one last glimmer of hope. It was all coming down to the final day. After 161 regular season games, the American League Eastern Division title was yet undecided. But the Blue Jays still needed another White Sox victory. Boston charged ahead of Chicago in the 2nd inning, scoring 3 runs, and Fenway Park was in an uproar, anticipating victory. In Baltimore, with the Jays trailing 1-0 in the 8th, Olerud connected.
He drives one deep to right. That is gone. A 2-run shot, and the Blue Jays take the lead, 2-1.
The tension built to a crescendo as the White Sox hung tough in Boston by scoring in the 7th.
Line to the left field, a base hit. Thomas scores. Pasqua's coming to the plate. He is out by a mile.
The White Sox trailed by 2. And in Baltimore, the Blue Jays could only watch as their season faced the final curtain. Back in Boston, the tying runs on base, 9th inning. 2 outs. The batter, Ozzie Guillen.
Line down the right field line, hooking toward the corner. Brunansky! He made the catch in the corner. A great catch by Tom Brunansky. And the Red Sox are the champions of the American League East in 1990.
With the division flag decided in Boston, Tom Henke faced Mickey Tettleton in the 9th. Score tied at 2.
He drives it deep, and that will certainly end the Toronto season. If the Boston victory didn't, that shot by Tettleton did. Tom Henke, a 2-strike home run. In the 9th inning, the Orioles beat the Blue Jays 3-2.
A downcast conclusion, one that left the Blue Jays with heavy hearts. Dreams of what could have been transformed into a blur of disappointment. Better to remember the good times, accentuate the positive. After all, winning wouldn't be so sweet if it was all that easy. The Blue Jays can be proud of their 8th straight winning season, drawing a record 3.8 million fans, and proud of the valiant all-out performances and great individual accomplishments. 1990 was a year for young stars to blossom, like Kelly Gruber. While veteran stars like Dave Stieb shine brighter than ever with record-making achievements. The Blue Jays will be back in 1991 with a tradition of success that figures to carry on for years to come. And these are the images that guarantee the Blue Jays' future will indeed be a bright one. And next year, Toronto will play host to the All-Star Game.